The Leadership Challenge, by James M. Kouzes and Barry Z. Posner. Introduction. Imagine you're 18 years old. You've just landed your first real job at a family-owned jewelry company, a place with a long, honorable history. 18 years later, after working your way up from the sales floor to the executive team, you get a call. The company is in trouble. The CEO, a family member, has just left. The culture is drifting, profits are low, and the people you've worked with for years have lost their sense of ownership. And then, they offer you the job. CEO. The first non-family member, and the first woman, to ever hold the position. This isn't a movie script. This was the real-life challenge facing Anna Blackburn at Beaverbrooks, the jewelers in the United Kingdom. What would you do in that moment? How would you lead people through uncertainty and restore their belief in the company, and in themselves? Anna's first move wasn't to issue a grand plan. It was to ask a question. She sent a survey to every single employee, from the stockroom to the boardroom, and asked, "What qualities do you most want to see in your new CEO?" They told her they wanted someone honest, inspiring, competent, and forward-looking. And at her first company-wide meeting, she stood before them, shared those results, and made a simple promise: she would do everything in her power to live up to their expectations. That single act of listening, of putting her people's needs first, was the start of a remarkable turnaround. It's a story that gets to the very heart of one of the most enduring and respected books on leadership ever written, The Leadership Challenge. For over 30 years, through 6 editions and millions of copies sold, authors James Kouzes and Barry Posner have been on a quest to answer one simple, profound question: what did you do when you were at your personal best as a leader? They didn't ask CEOs or generals. They asked ordinary people from every walk of life: managers, volunteers, students, and parents. And from thousands of those personal best stories, they discovered something incredible. They found that when we are at our best as leaders, we all engage in the same fundamental behaviors. Leadership isn't a magical gift some people are born with. It's not about your title or your position. It's an observable, learnable set of practices. And today, I'm going to share those practices with you. By the end of our time together, you will understand the 5 core behaviors that unlock the leader within all of us. You'll have a roadmap for how to earn trust, inspire a vision, and empower others to achieve things they never thought possible. Because the secret of this book isn't just about leading others, it's about discovering the extraordinary potential that already exists inside of you. Book summary. So, where does the journey of leadership begin? If you ask most people, they'll point to a title on a business card or a name on an office door. But Kouzes and Posner discovered something different. They found that leadership isn't a position you hold, it's a relationship you build. And like any relationship, it starts with one thing: trust. Think about the people you would willingly follow. Not because you have to, but because you want to. What is it about them? Over decades, the authors have asked this question to over 100,000 people around the globe. The answers are remarkably consistent. We are willing to follow people who are, first and foremost, honest. We want to know they are truthful and principled. Second, we need them to be competent. They have to have a track record, they have to know what they're doing. Third, they must be inspiring. They have to be energetic, positive, and optimistic about the future. And finally, they need to be forward-looking. They have to have a sense of direction, a vision for where we're all going. Honest, competent, inspiring, and forward-looking. These 4 qualities are the pillars of what the authors call credibility. And this leads to what they call the first law of leadership: if you don't believe in the messenger, you won't believe the message. It's a simple, powerful truth. All the brilliant strategies and eloquent speeches in the world are useless if people don't believe in the person delivering them. Credibility is the foundation of leadership. So, the next logical question is, how do you build it? How do you become credible in the eyes of others? When people are asked to define credibility through behavior, their answer is almost always the same. They say credible leaders practice what they preach or walk the talk. This led the authors to their second law of leadership, a mantra so simple and profound it should be etched on every leader's desk: do what you say you will do. DWISEWOOD, for short. This simple phrase is the key that unlocks everything else. It's the bridge between your intentions and your actions. And the entire framework of the Leadership Challenge is built on the 5 practices that allow you to live by this law. These are the 5 practices of exemplary leadership. The first practice is model the way. This is where leadership begins. It's the very essence of do what you say you will do. But to model the way, you first have to be clear on 2 things: your own values and the shared values of your team. The authors call this finding your voice and affirming shared values. You have to know what you stand for before you can lead others. Your values are your personal compass. They guide every decision you make, every action you take. But it's not enough to just know them. You have to be able to articulate them in your own words, authentically. If you're just mouthing the words from a corporate poster, people will see right through it. Once you're clear on your own voice, you have to find harmony with the voices of your team. Great leaders don't impose their values on others. They build consensus around a set of shared values. They create a common ground where everyone feels understood and respected. But finding your voice and affirming shared values is only half of modeling the way. The other half is setting the example. Your actions are what give your values meaning. This is where you truly earn credibility. Consider the story of Steve Skark, a plant manager at Conaca, Texas Corporation. His management team had been talking for years about becoming a world-class plant, and they all agreed that a key part of that vision was a strong culture of safety and good housekeeping. But when Steve looked around, he saw a plant that was far from that ideal. Trash was everywhere. He knew that simply sending another memo wouldn't work. So one day, he stopped at a hardware store, bought a 2-gallon plastic bucket, and wrote "World-Class Plant" on the side. When he got back to the facility, he walked through the plant and started picking up trash himself. He didn't say a word. He just filled his bucket, walked through the main control room where everyone could see him, and emptied it into a trash can. Word spread like wildfire. The plant manager was picking up trash. Soon, other managers started carrying their own buckets. Then, the operators and technicians began coming up with their own ideas to keep the plant clean. Steve's one small, symbolic action did more to change the culture than years of meetings and memos ever could. He didn't just talk about the value of a world-class plant, he lived it. He set the example. That's modeling the way. Once you know what you stand for and are living by those values, you're ready for the second practice: inspire a shared vision. Leaders are dealers in hope. They are forward-looking. They paint a picture of the future that is so compelling, so exciting, that others want to be a part of it. But here's the crucial distinction the authors make. It's not about your vision. It's about a shared vision. You can't force people to follow you to a place they don't want to go. You have to connect your vision to their hopes, their dreams, and their aspirations. How do you do that? First, you have to truly listen. You have to listen deeply to the people you hope to lead, to understand what matters to them, what gives their work meaning. You discover the common ground, the shared purpose that already exists within the group. Then, you have to bring that vision to life. You have to animate it, make it feel real. Leaders do this through vivid language, through metaphors and stories that create powerful mental images. Jan Pakas, a managing director at Hilti Corporation in Australia, provides a brilliant example. When he took over, the company was very average. He knew they needed a new direction, but a dry business strategy wouldn't capture anyone's heart. The company's signature color is red. Their competitors' tools were a sea of blue, yellow, and green on job sites. So Jan and his team came up with a simple, powerful vision: we're painting Australia red. Suddenly, everyone in the company, from sales to shipping, had a clear, tangible image of what success looked like. When they won a huge contract and saw 140 rental stores switch from blue and yellow tools to Hilti red, they weren't just seeing a business deal, they were seeing the vision become a reality. The phrase appealed to their heads, their hearts, and their hands. It was logical, emotional, and actionable. That's the power of an inspired, shared vision. It gives people a common cause to rally around. But a great vision is just the beginning. A vision for a better future means that the present has to change. And change is hard. This brings us to the third practice: challenge the process. Every single personal best leadership story in the book is a story of change. No one ever achieved their personal best by maintaining the status quo. Leaders are pioneers. They are people who see a gap between what is and what could be, and they step forward to close that gap. They are not content with the way we've always done things. But challenging the process doesn't mean you have to be the sole inventor of every new idea. In fact, the authors found that innovation often comes from listening more than from telling. It comes from what they call outsight, looking outside your own experience, your own department, even your own industry for new and innovative ideas. This is exactly what Aristotle Verdon did at his storage networking company. The project management process was broken, leading to chaos and budget overruns. Instead of trying to fix it alone, he looked outside. He went to a former colleague at another company who had faced similar problems. Armed with that outsight, he got approval for his team to get specialized training. But even then, he didn't try to implement a massive, company-wide change all at once. He started small. This is a key part of challenging the process, generating small wins. Aristotle and his team ran pilot projects to test the new process in a controlled environment. They learned from their experiments, fine-tuned the process, and built momentum. These small victories gave everyone the confidence and the proof they needed to adopt the new system. Soon, they had reduced project delays and costs by 20%. Challenging the process is about being proactive, treating every job as an adventure, and seeing every mistake not as a failure, but as a learning opportunity. Leaders create a climate where it's safe to experiment and take calculated risks. Of course, you can't challenge the process or do anything extraordinary all by yourself. This is where the fourth, and perhaps most crucial, practice comes in: enable others to act. Leadership is a team sport. Grand dreams never become realities through the actions of a single person. To achieve greatness, you need a team built on solid trust and strong relationships. The authors are clear: exemplary leaders don't hoard power, they give it away. They strengthen others by fostering collaboration and enhancing self-determination. They create a climate of trust where people feel safe to share ideas, to be vulnerable, and to support one another. Poonam Jadav's story from her time at City Technology Services perfectly illustrates this. She worked under two different team leaders. The first one didn't trust her team. She micromanaged every detail, never allowed anyone to make decisions on their own, and communicated only through email. The result? The team was frustrated, demoralized, and underperformed. The second leader was the complete opposite. She trusted her team members, giving them the autonomy to solve problems and make their own decisions. She interacted with them face to face, listened to their concerns, and coached them by asking questions instead of giving answers. She made them feel powerful and capable. And the result? Her team was innovative, accountable, and consistently outperformed expectations. She didn't just manage her team, she turned them into leaders themselves. Enabling others to act means building trust by being the first to trust. It means showing concern for others and truly listening to them. It means creating cooperative goals where everyone understands that we're all in this together. And it means developing the competence and confidence of your team, so they feel not just willing, but able to take on greater challenges. The journey of leadership is long and challenging. There will be setbacks. People will get tired, frustrated, and tempted to give up. This is why the fifth and final practice is so vital. Encourage the heart. Leaders know that to keep hope and determination alive, you have to recognize contributions and celebrate the values and victories. This isn't about just handing out generic awards or hosting a bland annual party. Encouragement is, as the authors say, curiously serious business. It's how you visibly and behaviorally link rewards with performance and values. The story of Anita Lim highlights the stark difference this makes. At one job, her manager, ruled by fear, never offered sincere praise, and ignored a massive achievement when Anita delivered a double-digit sales increase. The result was a toxic environment with incredibly high turnover. At her next job, her district manager was the opposite. She expected the best from her team because she truly believed in them. She personalized recognition, creating awards for things like most improved and most courageous. She got personally involved, showing up to congratulate teams in person, and even became teary-eyed while giving a heartfelt speech for an award recipient. Her actions created a spirit of community where people celebrated each other's successes instead of feeling envious. Encouraging the heart is about expecting the best from people and letting them know you believe in them. It's about personalizing recognition because a one-size-fits-all approach feels thoughtless. It's about creating a spirit of community where people feel connected to something larger than themselves. And sometimes, it's about something as simple, yet powerful, as looking someone in the eye and saying a genuine thank you. So there you have it. The 5 practices of exemplary leadership. Model the way, inspire a shared vision, challenge the process, enable others to act, and encourage the heart. But what truly holds all of this together? It's the realization that leadership isn't some grand, abstract theory. It's a deeply human endeavor. When you look at the people we consider our greatest leadership role models, who are they? The author's research found that they aren't famous CEOs or political figures. Overwhelmingly, they are family members, teachers, coaches, and our first bosses. Leadership is local. It's personal. The people you interact with every day are looking to you for a leadership example. The difference you can make is staggering. The authors asked thousands of people to rate what percentage of their talent was used by their best leader versus their worst leader. The results are astounding. People said their worst leaders utilized, on average, just 31% of their talent. But their best leaders? They utilized an average of 95% of their talent. Some people even said their best leaders got more than 100% from them, pushing them to do things they never thought they were capable of. That's the leadership challenge. It's the challenge to be the kind of person who brings out the best in others. And it's a challenge that starts not by looking out at others, but by looking inward, at yourself. Commentary. As we've walked through the landscape of the leadership challenge, what strikes me the most, after all these years, is its profound simplicity and its deep sense of humanity. In a world cluttered with complex management theories and leadership fads, this book brings us back to the timeless, fundamental truths of how human beings connect, strive, and achieve great things together. The single most powerful lesson, I believe, is that leadership is not an exclusive club. It is not a destiny reserved for a chosen few. It is a choice. It is a set of skills and behaviors that can be learned, practiced, and mastered by anyone with the will to do so. This idea is incredibly liberating. It means that you, right now, wherever you are in your life, have the capacity to make a positive impact on the people around you. You don't need to wait for a title. You don't need to wait for permission. You just need to decide to act. The authors end their book with a story that has always stayed with me. They interviewed U.S. Army Major General John H. Stanford, a highly decorated and respected leader. They asked him how he would go about developing leaders. His answer wasn't about strategy or tactics. He said, "I have the secret to success in life. The secret to success is to stay in love." He explained that staying in love gives you the fire to ignite other people, to see inside them, to have a greater desire to get things done. Of all the things that sustain a leader, love is the most lasting. Love for what you do. Love for the people you work with. Love for the purpose you serve. This brings us to the final, beautiful conclusion of the book. Leadership is not an affair of the head. Leadership is an affair of the heart. So how do you begin this journey today? You don't need a grand plan. You can start with 3 small, simple actions. First, find your voice. Take 15 minutes tonight. Just you, a piece of paper, and a pen. Write down the 3 to 5 values that you believe in so strongly you would never compromise them. These are your guiding principles. Getting them on paper is the first step to living them intentionally. Second, challenge the process with a small win. Look around you, at school, at home, in your community. Find one small thing that is broken or inefficient. Don't try to solve world hunger. Just find one small process you can improve. What is one tiny step you can take this week to make it better? That's how change begins. And third, encourage someone's heart. Think of one person who has done something well recently, something that went unnoticed. Go to them, look them in the eye, and tell them specifically what they did and why you appreciate it. A genuine, personal thank you is the most powerful and underused leadership tool we have. That was a summary of the Leadership Challenge by James Kouzes and Barry Posner. We've touched on the core ideas today, but a summary is like looking at a map of a beautiful country. The map can show you the landmarks, but it can never replace the experience of actually walking the trails, meeting the people, and feeling the sun on your face. The real magic of this book lies in the hundreds of stories and the deep, practical wisdom woven into every page. If any of the ideas we've discussed today have sparked something in you, I encourage you to pick up a copy. Reading it isn't just about learning a new framework, it's about beginning a journey of self-discovery that can fundamentally change how you see yourself and your potential to make a difference. The link to the book is in the description below. Also, if this journey through the world of great ideas has been valuable to you, please take a moment to subscribe and perhaps share it with a friend. Our goal here is to keep exploring the books that shape great minds and great lives. Let's keep growing and learning together.